Imagine walking into an 8,500-seat church and seeing it half empty, while the pastor who built it is still asking for millions in donations. That's exactly what's happening with Pastor Creflo Dollar, one of the most controversial figures in modern ministry. Today we're diving deep into why his massive church can't seem to fill up, the rumors that are spreading like wildfire, and the shocking truth he doesn't want you to know. Pastor Creflo Dollar is no stranger to headlines. From his flashy lifestyle to his multi-million-dollar church, he has built a reputation that's both admired and heavily criticized. But behind the grandeur, something surprising is happening. His 8,500-seat church is struggling to fill even half of its seats on a regular Sunday. In this video, we're going to uncover the reasons behind this decline, explore the controversies surrounding his ministry, and reveal the facts that most people aren't talking about. You'll learn about the financial pressures, the public backlash, and the shocking incidents that may have contributed to this situation. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear understanding of why even one of the most famous pastors in America is facing challenges that money and fame can't fix. Stay with us because some of the revelations are truly jaw-dropping, and you won't want to miss what we uncover next. Creflo Dollar's journey to fame is nothing short of remarkable. Born in 1962 in College Park, Georgia, Dollar began preaching at a young age, and by the 1980s, he had already established himself as a powerful voice in the American church scene. Known for his charisma and compelling delivery, he quickly gained a following that admired his bold teachings about prosperity, success, and faith. In 1986, Dollar founded World Changers Church International in College Park, Georgia. What started as a small congregation eventually grew into a megachurch, boasting tens of thousands of members and drawing national attention. Dollar's teachings, often centered around financial prosperity and the idea that faith could lead to material wealth, resonated with many, especially those looking for hope and stability in uncertain times. By the early 2000s, Dollar had become a household name. His sermons were broadcasted across multiple platforms, from television networks to online streaming, reaching millions of viewers worldwide. He published books, hosted conferences, and even launched his own television network. At the peak of his influence, it seemed as though there was no limit to what Creflo Dollar could achieve. Yet despite his meteoric rise, cracks began to appear. Controversies over his lavish lifestyle, his expensive cars, private jets, and his church's enormous construction projects began to raise questions. People started asking, how could a pastor preaching humility and spiritual growth afford such extravagance? And more importantly, were his followers turning away in silence, quietly judging the man behind the pulpit? The stage was set for what would become a dramatic shift in his ministry, a shift that has led to the shocking reality we see today. A massive 8,500-seat church that often sits half empty. And here's where it gets even more interesting. There's a specific scandal that critics believe directly impacted attendance, and it's something most media outlets have only hinted at. We'll dive into that next. Creflo Dollar's name has always attracted attention, but not all of it has been positive. Over the years, a series of controversies have surrounded his ministry, and many analysts believe these issues directly contributed to the declining attendance at his massive church. Understanding these events is key to grasping why even a pastor with millions of followers can struggle to fill seats. One of the most talked about controversies revolves around Dollar's extravagant lifestyle. Unlike the traditional image of a humble pastor, Dollar became famous, or infamous, for his lavish possessions. His fleet of luxury cars, private jet, and multi-million-dollar mansions drew the attention of critics and congregants alike. While Dollar defended his lifestyle as a reflection of God's blessings, many felt it was excessive and disconnected from the everyday struggles of his followers. This perception began to erode trust among those who once admired him. Then came the financial controversies. In 2012, Dollar made headlines when he requested a $65 million private jet donation for his ministry. The request sparked outrage nationwide. Critics accused him of greed and questioned whether the money could have been better used for community outreach, charitable programs, or church expansion that actually benefited congregants. Media outlets ran stories dissecting his spending habits, and online forums were filled with heated debates about whether a pastor should live in such luxury while followers struggled. Dollar has faced scrutiny for how he handles internal church matters. Former members and whistleblowers have occasionally spoken out about alleged mismanagement, favoritism, and a culture that prioritized donations over spiritual growth. While these claims were never legally proven, they fueled public skepticism. Social media amplified every allegation, spreading doubts about Dollar's leadership and making potential new attendees hesitant to join. Even more damaging were the personal scandals. Rumors circulated regarding his personal relationships, though details were often murky. In the modern age, social media has made it easy for unverified claims to go viral, and Dollar's name became a frequent subject of gossip. Each controversy, whether fully substantiated or not, chipped away at the image of the untouchable megapastor. These scandals, combined with the natural ebb and flow of any large congregation, set the stage for the reality we see today: an enormous church with thousands of empty seats. But there's another factor that's equally important, something more structural than scandalous, that has silently impacted attendance over the years. This factor is something even loyal followers sometimes overlook, and it might surprise you. While controversies and scandals certainly play a major role in Pastor Creflo Dollar's 8,500-seat church appearing half-empty, there's another often overlooked factor: the structure and operation of the church itself. Understanding this is crucial because it shows that even the most famous pastors can face practical challenges that money and charisma alone cannot fix. First, consider the sheer size of World Changers Church International. An 8,500-seat auditorium is massive by any standard, and filling such a space consistently is a monumental task. Many megachurches see fluctuating attendance depending on the season, special events, or even the weather. A large church must maintain impeccable logistics, parking, seating, crowd control, and a sense of intimacy for its congregants. Unfortunately, critics argue that Dollar's church, while impressive, struggles to create a personal connection with members. A congregation that large can feel impersonal, leaving new attendees overwhelmed and less likely to return. Another factor is the location. While College Park, Georgia, is accessible, it may not be convenient for all of Dollar's followers. Some longtime members have noted that transportation, traffic, and distance make regular attendance challenging. Unlike smaller community churches where members can walk or take short trips, a megachurch requires significant commitment from congregants just to attend. Over time, this can lead to declining numbers, especially among younger families or older members. Technology and streaming have also changed the game. Dollar's ministry is broadcasted worldwide through TV networks and online platforms. While this increases reach, it can ironically decrease physical attendance. Why drive to a church when you can watch the sermon from the comfort of your home on a large screen or mobile device? This trend is not unique to Dollar. It's affecting megachurches across the country. Virtual attendance simply cannot replicate the energy and community of a live congregation, but it does impact seat-filling numbers. Staffing and management challenges further compound the problem. Running an 8,500-seat church requires a well-coordinated team for every department: ushering, security, finance, outreach, and pastoral care. Reports from former employees suggest that World Changers Church has experienced turnover and internal tensions, which can affect service quality. When congregants feel neglected or sense disorganization, they may stop attending regularly, even if they still support the church financially. Finally, there's the issue of relevance. Dollar's teaching style and focus on prosperity preaching, while successful in the past, may not resonate with younger generations. Millennials and Gen Z are increasingly drawn to churches that emphasize community involvement, social justice, and spiritual depth over material success. Critics argue that Dollar's focus on wealth and luxury alienates this growing demographic, further contributing to the half-empty pews. All these factors, size, location, virtual accessibility, staffing, and relevance, combine with past scandals to create a perfect storm. Even the most devoted followers may start questioning whether attending in person is worth the effort. At first glance, Pastor Creflo Dollar's church seems like a picture of prosperity. A sprawling 8,500-seat auditorium, luxury vehicles, and multi-million-dollar events create an image of abundance that most people can only dream of. But when you dig deeper, a different story emerges, one that could explain why attendance has declined and why the church appears half empty. To understand is that running a megachurch is enormously expensive. Beyond staff salaries and operational costs, maintaining a massive facility comes with astronomical expenses. Utilities for a building that size can run into tens of thousands of dollars every month. Security, cleaning, landscaping, technology, and maintenance are constant drains on resources. Even for a church that receives millions in donations, these costs can add up quickly, especially if attendance, and therefore regular giving, is declining. Then there's the issue of debt. Large-scale construction projects, like the 8,500-seat auditorium, are rarely fully paid for upfront. Reports suggest that Dollar's church has faced substantial financial obligations tied to construction loans and property maintenance. While the public sees the grandeur, the reality is that large portions of donations may be going towards servicing debts rather than new programs or community outreach. This financial pressure can create tension within the church leadership, and some insiders say it affects decision-making, prioritizing money over spiritual growth. Donation patterns also reveal a challenge. Megachurches often rely on a smaller segment of high-giving congregants who contribute significant amounts to sustain operations. When controversies emerge, or even just the perception of excess or mismanagement surfaces, these donors may scale back or withdraw their support entirely. For a church like Dollar's, which depends heavily on large gifts, even a slight decrease can make the empty seats more noticeable. Adding to this, the pandemic and changing cultural habits have shifted the way people engage with religion. Many former congregants have adapted to online services and may no longer feel compelled to attend in person. The combination of reduced donations and decreased physical attendance creates a feedback loop. Less money makes it harder to run events, which discourages attendance, which in turn reduces income even further. Some former members have also suggested that internal financial decisions may have created dissatisfaction among staff. When church employees feel underpaid or overworked while witnessing extravagant spending elsewhere, it can lead to higher turnover and inefficiency. These issues, although rarely discussed publicly, trickle down and affect the overall experience of attending services, leaving congregants feeling disconnected or undervalued. Despite all this, Dollar continues to preach prosperity and faith, encouraging members to give generously. Yet the irony is hard to miss. A church preaching financial blessing while struggling with attendance and operational costs sends a confusing message to the public. And while many would assume that money and fame can overcome these challenges, the reality shows something different. Empty seats are a powerful signal of underlying problems.